If your child is struggling and every provider you've seen is just checking boxes on a milestone chart, let me show you what they're missing. Because here's the thing, milestones matter, but they're not the whole story. And when we only focus on did they crawl or did they walk or are they talking yet, we miss critical windows into what's actually happening in your child's developing brain. Let me explain what I mean by that. Your child's milestones are windows into their brain. When we look at development, most providers are asking one question. Did your child hit this milestone? Yes or no? Did they crawl by 9 months? Did they walk by 12 months? Did they say their first words by 12 months? And if the answer is yes, we move on. If the answer is no, we refer out to therapy. But here's what we need to understand. It's not just about whether or not they hit the milestone. It's about how they hit it, what came before it, and what's happening in all the other areas of development at the same time. Because milestones aren't just checkboxes. They're windows into how the brain is developing. So when a child rolls, crawls, walks, talks, plays, sleeps, eats, all of those behaviors are giving us information about how the nervous system is functioning. And if we only look at one isolated milestone, we miss the bigger picture. Here's what I want you to start thinking about instead. Instead of just asking, did they crawl? I want you to start asking these questions. Did they skip any stages? Like, did they skip rolling and go straight to sitting? Did they skip crawling and go straight to walking? A lot of parents come in and say, my kid was so smart. They skipped crawling. They just pulled themselves up and started walking at 9 months. And here's the thing. I'm not here to make you feel like you did something wrong because you didn't. But skipping crawling is a window. It's telling us something about how the brain is developing. Because crawling develops cross-body coordination. It integrates primitive reflexes. It helps the two sides of the brain communicate with each other. If a child skips that stage, it doesn't mean they're broken. It means we need to look deeper. We need to ask, are there gaps in their development that might show up later as focus issues, coordination challenges, or learning struggles? And here's the other question. How did they do it? So let's say your child did crawl. Great, but did they only crawl with one side? Did they crawl backwards? Did they army crawl for a really long time before they got up on their hands and knees? Those variations are windows. They're telling us about muscle tone, about reflexes, about how this nervous system is coordinating movement. And it's not just about movement. We need to look at the whole child. This is where most providers stop. They look at gross motor milestones, like did they roll, crawl, walk? Check, done. But I want you to think about development in categories. 5 big categories: movement, communication, nourishment, sleep, and play. Because if we only look at one category, we miss the whole picture. So let me give you an example. Let's talk about communication. Most parents come and worry because their child isn't talking yet. They're 2 years old and they only have a few words. So the first question everyone asks is, are they using expressive language? Are they saying words? But here's the question we need to ask first. Are they engaging in receptive language? Receptive language means, are they attending to you when you talk to them? Do they seem to understand you? Are they processing what you're saying? Because if a child isn't engaging in receptive language, we can't expect them to jump straight to expressive language. We have to go back and build that foundation first. And here's what else we need to look at. Are they gesturing? Are they pointing? Are they making eye contact? Because the hierarchy of language development goes like this. First gesturing, then receptive language, then expressive language, then reading, then writing. So if your child isn't talking yet, we need to walk back down that hierarchy and say, where are they? What are they doing? And what do we need to support first? The same thing applies to nourishment. Most providers ask, is your child eating solid foods? Yes or no? But we need to ask deeper questions. Was there symmetry when they were breastfeeding? Did they latch better on one side than the other? When you introduce solids, was there a big tongue thrust? Did they choke and gag a lot? Do they still choke and gag? Are they a picky eater? Do they avoid certain textures? All of those things are windows. They're telling us about muscle tone, about primitive reflexes, about sensory processing, about whether there might be a physical limitation like a tongue tie. And we need to know, is this a brain thing or is this a physical limitation thing? Because the answer to that question tells us what kind of support they may actually need. And then there's sleep. Does your child need intense swallowing to sleep? Do they need constant movement? Do they need to be held all night? Are they a restless sleeper? Do they snore? Are they a mouth breather? All of those things are windows into the nervous system. A baby who needs a deep pressure and constant input is telling us that their nervous system is under stress. A child who snores and might mouth breathe might have an airway issue, which means they're not getting good quality sleep, which means they're getting cortisol dumps all night, which impacts their ability to focus and regulate during the day. So we can't just ask, are they sleeping through the night? We need to ask, how are they sleeping? And play. Play is one of the most important windows we have. How does your child play? Are they engaging in imaginative play? Are they playing with other kids? Or are they playing alone, scripting the same things over and over? Play is how kids learn to navigate social scenarios. It's how the prefrontal cortex develops. It's how they build cognitive flexibility. So if a child isn't playing, or if they're playing very rigid, repetitive ways, that's a window. It's telling them something about their development. But here's the bottom line. Development isn't about checking boxes. It's about looking at the whole child. It's about asking, where is this child in their developmental trajectory? What tools are they using? What gaps might they have? And here's the most important 2 questions we ask in our office. Question 1, are there clinical indicators of input, processing, output challenges? In other words, is there neurostructural shifts? Is there altered sensory experiencing? Is there something obstructing clear communication between the brain and the body? And then question 2, where is this child in development? Not just did they hit the milestone, but where are they on this hierarchy of development? What tools are they using? What comes next? Because when we can answer those 2 questions, we can create a plan that actually supports the whole child. We're looking at the root cause. We're addressing the nervous system interference. We're supporting the brain's natural trajectory of development. Here's what that looks like in real life. We had a little girl who came to us because she wasn't talking. She was 3 years old and she had no expressive language. Her parents had started speech therapy and they were frustrated because nothing was working. When we did our exam, we found that she had some altered input, processing, output. She had some neurostructural shifts blocking clear communication between her brain and her body. She had unintegrated primitive reflexes. She had sensory processing challenges. She wasn't even engaging in receptive language yet. So explain that to the parents. She's not there yet with expressive language, and that's okay. Our first goal isn't to get her talking. Our first goal is to help her become aware of her body and space, to help her start engaging with the world around her, to help her process receptive language. And then guess what? Expressive language will come. And that's exactly what happened. We started addressing the neurostructural shifts. We supported her nervous system and she started to engage. She started to notice other kids. She started attending to her parents when they talked to her. And then she started talking. Not because we treated the symptoms, but because we supported the foundation. If your child is struggling and nobody's looking at the bigger picture, that might be the missing piece. Book a complimentary consultation at truecenter.com or call us at 443-333-9876. We'll look at the whole child. We'll assess where they are in development. We'll show you what's obstructing with their brain's ability to develop the way that it was designed to. And then we'll create a plan that supports the foundation, not just chase the symptoms. Because your child isn't a checklist. They're a whole person and they deserve care that sees them that way.